All right, we are live from Mexico. Hello,
Morning.
everyone. It's a little early for people, I think, but we are excited. We are up. We are here near Cancun. Do you remember the name of the area that we're in?
Um,
I don't remember the area, but near Cancun. I'll put it like that. Maybe about an hour away. I'm not sure where we are.
we're near Riviera Maya, aren't we?
Somewhere. We're
Yeah.
somewhere in Mexico. We are here at a functional medicine conference, and
You can see, like, in our
oh,
background,
yeah,
they're doing some yoga back there.
yes, it's beautiful weather, and we are enjoying. We come together, we share stories and best practices, and really, how can we collectively change what healthcare is like, what health means to the world. It's really amazing, and we always get inspired for our own health and for what we kind of do with others as well. So. A lot of people always ask, well, what is functional medicine? Every time I tell somebody, like when someone asks me, it's always kind of weird when people say, oh, well, what do you do? I said, functional medicine. They're like, well, what is that? And so I figure this is a great time to kind of talk a little bit about functional medicine. And so basically, it's pretty simple. It's the study of how the body functions optimally. When I was in med school, we were taught how to treat symptoms and diseases, what medications to write, when to prescribe surgery, things of that nature. But it's really, treating the symptoms after the disease already shows up. And the challenge with that is we fix that, but we're not getting to the root cause of the issue, so the symptoms keep reoccurring or other symptoms appear. So what functional medicine is really the study of how the body functions optimally. We're trained to get to the root cause of the issues rather than just putting Band-Aids on the symptoms, and then everything gets better. It's really quite amazing. People getting out of chronic pain when they've had pain most of their lives, finally able to, get the weight off and things of that nature when they've been dieting and exercising and nothing has been working, getting people's hormones back into balance and things of that nature. So that way the body can function optimally. And that's kind of it. Is that kind of your understanding of it as well? Was that a good description?
I think so. I think it's important for a lot of people who, especially people who come from the traditional allopathic medicine type of area where they're kind of ill, but they're having symptoms and they're being managed with their symptoms with multiple medications. It's hard to just, have them go from one extreme to the other. So having an in-between is very crucial for them if they want to, optimize their health and get off of the medications.
Right.
They just don't know how to do that. And so the doctors themselves, the allopathic doctors, don't know how to do that. So, that leads
Nor do they have time.
Right. So
And another word or term that you usually hear is anti-aging, anti-aging practices or anti-aging clinics. And pretty much it's the same thing. It's like, well, we're all going to age, yes, but how quickly are we going to age? When you see someone that looks 80, but you find out that they're 60, what's the first thing that you think? Oh man, they've had a rough life, right? Maybe they smoked, maybe they were stressed, throughout their life. They just had a rough life. And those people, they age a lot quicker. So if you can age quicker, then you can also slow that process down as well, by doing the opposite and giving the body what it needs rather than putting stressors on the body. And so it's really the study of that. And hormone balance has a lot to do with how quickly that you age as well. And we found that you don't necessarily, I think hormone replacement is helpful at times, but we find that you don't really even need to do that if we're able to really get the body balancing that pretty efficiently as well. So,
But I feel like a lot of people don't understand the, I guess this kind of like the biochemical happenings of your system and how we can repair cells and how we can, it's not
Yeah.
just all about like, how you look. There's things that are happening internally to create
On a cellular
that
level.
situation where you then
Right,
look
right.
younger.
Right.
You end up looking younger, or like your skin.
You mean it's not about
improves
just getting Botox?
Exactly. Yeah, like your skin improves, like the elasticity of your skin, your collagen production, all the things that we should have happen naturally stops happening or gets disrupted when we're eating, incorrectly, or we're doing things and putting things in our system that we're not supposed to, or putting things on our body, or we're in an environment that's, creating havoc for us, as far as like our body's reacting to like whatever it is that we're exposed to.
Yep.
So all those things added up biochemically is creating the stage for us to feel and look older.
Yeah, that was a very good description.
Yeah.
And people always ask me all the time, well, why did you switch? Why did you go from, that to, what prompted you? And my story is a very personal story. And if you go around and speak to all the practitioners here, they all have some personal story of either how their health was affected or a family member's health was affected, and allopathic medicine just did not have the answers, right? And for me, it was both. But I remember, my dad, he was pretty healthy. He was, in shape. He worked outside and with his hands a lot, and he really wasn't sick ever. But he had high blood pressure, he had high cholesterol. The doctors just wrote him a prescription for blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine. And he thought that the problems were solved, right? Because the numbers were good. But what it really was is it was his body indicating that there was other things going on, other things like, you had to look under the hood because the check engine light was on, and that got ignored. And then years later, pancreatic cancer pops up. And it feels like when someone gets cancer or something like that, it feels like it just pops up out of the blue, but really the body gives you warning signs along the way, but we either ignore those warning signs or we mask those warning signs with medications. And that's what happened. And for those that pancreatic cancer comes with a 4-month death sentence. And my dad had, surgery, he had it removed, he was in the hospital for like a month, and I was there by his side watching him waste away. He lost all this weight, he was like skin and bones, and then at the end of it, the surgeon says, well, we got the whole mass, but there's likely cancer cells still, circulating through the body. They recommended chemo. And my dad was like, no, I'm not doing chemo, and I did the research. It wasn't shown to really help. And so but he didn't want to give up. He wanted to keep fighting. And so I found the Optimal Health Institute in San Diego, enrolled both of us there for a couple of weeks. We were only able to be there a week because his lungs started filling up with cancerous fluid, malignant fluid. And so we had to, come back home because he was so far along. But in that 1 week that we were there, I learned more about health, more about like how nutrition works, how the body heals itself. I learned more about health in that 1 week than the 4 years in medical school and the time I had, spent in residency. And I remember we had just finished a class, and we got out of that class, and my dad, he just looked up at me, and his eyes was all, they were sunken in, and he was just emaciated. And he looks up at me, after this class, and he says, if only I would have known about this sooner. And I'll never forget that day, that moment, because it was the most helpless feeling that I can remember. Because here I had all this knowledge, I was already a doctor at the time, and all I could say was, me too. I wish I would have known about this sooner. So it was at that time where I was determined I wasn't going to let anyone else die or suffer without the knowledge, you know? And so that's kind of what planted the seed and started me kind of on that journey of figuring out how the body functions optimally, rather than just waiting for sickness to pop up and then just treating the symptoms. And then when I found out what's actually possible, where they told us it was impossible in medical school, and I'm seeing it with my own eyes, people healing from things that they say that there's no cure for, and I realized why they say that there's no cure. They're not lying, right? We don't have a cure for a lot of diseases. What that means is we don't have a medication that we can prescribe and treat that's going to get rid of the disease. There's a lot of diseases out there with no medication that will get rid of it. So
Right.
then,
And they still don't have the ability to heal the body.
Correct.
They're just giving the body things that will cause it to try to heal. But
Right.
they physically can't go in and heal somebody.
Correct.
Your body is still doing the work.
correct.
Even if you're taking a medication for a symptom, your body is still processing that medication in order to relieve the symptom.
Right.
So your body's still doing the work.
Yeah, even if you cut yourself, right? Well, you know, so, oh, well, you go to the surgeon, you get sewed up, right? The surgeon healed you. No. The surgeon just brought the skin together, it put it in proximity, but then the body heals itself. We just create the environment, give the body what it needs so that the body can do the work.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I didn't really understand that. You know, they didn't really teach us that in medical school. It's like we felt like we were the healers. We prescribed the medication, and the medication, healed the body.
But
That-
it's not just medical school. It's everybody across the board.
What do you mean?
So we, as ones who did not go to medical school, did not become doctors, we have been programmed the same way that you have been programmed, because we have been programmed that you go to the doctor
Right.
and the doctor heals you.
Right.
Not,
Yeah.
your own body heals you.
Yeah.
You're just going to the doctor for some suggestions on what you can do to speed up the process.
Yep. No, that's true. That's true. Because I remember, when I was working in the office, I remember people coming in and they say, "Oh, I have a cold," or what have you. And it was viral. They would come in wanting antibiotics or whatever, right? I was like, it's viral. We just have to wait it out. Drink plenty of fluids and get some rest and da. And they would feel disappointed
Yes.
because
they want an antibiotic.
they want it right. It's like,
programming.
why'd I even come if you're not going to write me a prescription for something that's going to heal me? I'm like,
Right. But it's so funny because they don't, and when I say they, it's because I've been in the medical field so long that I know these things are not true. But people feel like even if it's something that you're saying, that you're telling them, that they have to heal on their own, or it has to take its course for your body to fight it off like a virus, they still say, well, can't you give me an antibiotic for it?
yeah,
Well, antibiotics are specific for specific things. You can't just take an antibiotic for everything.
right.
And that's why placebo pills work so well.
Yeah. It's mindset has a lot to do with it as well. And the dangerous thing about, first of all, I'm not anti-medication, right? I believe that medications can save lives, in certain situations. I believe that medications are a Band-Aid. If you are bleeding, right, if you're cut, if you're bleeding, I'll be the first to hand you a Band-Aid. Here's the challenge. If you have that same Band-Aid on 30 years later, there's a problem. There's a problem because the Band-Aid doesn't heal you. It's providing the environment that the body needs to heal itself. And so if it can't do that in 30 years and you still have that Band-Aid on, then there's something wrong. And I think that's what happens. People get on blood pressure medicine. How long is it prescribed for?
Yeah. Well, most people don't even know. Most people don't ask the question. They don't know how long they're supposed to be on a medication.
Because they're prescribed for it for life. It's indefinite.
That's true.
It's indefinite.
That's true.
You're put on a blood pressure medicine. There's no time that,
Expiration.
Right, exactly. You're on it for life. You're put on cholesterol medicine. You're on it for life. all of these things
But
because
even the acute medications. So, for example, if someone goes in for, let's say, I go in for an infection, right? And I'm put on steroids.
right,
Steroids are not supposed to be long-term medications, but because I have a chronic infection or I have something that's in my environment that's causing me to flare up because I haven't identified what that thing is, I'm going to keep having the same symptoms
Right.
over and over again.
Right.
They're going to keep me on steroids until I stop having the symptoms, which is not obviously,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But
People
even-
are on medications that are short term for years, even
Right.
though it's not
it's not right.
supposed to be,
Right.
is what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
okay,
And your doctor doesn't want, let me be
Right.
clear. Your doctor does not want you on medications, okay? No matter what you think, you know, they're not getting kickbacks and all this kind of stuff. So people say, oh, they're getting paid to put people on medication. No, you don't have to pay doctors to put people on medications because it's how we were trained, okay? It was how we were programmed. That's our tool belt, right? And so, and
they just don't know what
they
to
don't
do.
know what else to do, right? What are they going to do? Tell you to change your eating habits and do things different? No, because you're not going to do it.
Right. And some of them do. In
Right.
the case of, let's say, diabetes,
But they
they
can't-
can tell
they-
you,
but-
well, you have to lose weight, but they can't
Right.
tell you
They-
how.
They can't tell you how, but here's the other thing, right? If someone, you know, if you come into the doctor for high blood pressure and they don't write you a prescription for a blood pressure medicine and they say, listen, just, you know, eat right, lose some weight, exercise, whatever they, you know, tell you that you're not going to do. And then, right? And then you end up having a heart attack or a stroke. Well, whose fault is it? It's the doctor's fault legally, right? And then they get sued. And so they're like, oh, I'm not, you know, I wrote the prescription. I'm safe. You're right now. If you go and have an adverse reaction of the medication, well, you know, that's a whole different thing. We expect that, right? That's the reason why there's a long list of potential side effects of the medication. You're forewarned it could cause all these things, including death. So, right, we're covered. But oh my goodness, you know, if we prescribe lifestyle changes, but you don't do them, then
Yeah.
you know the doctor's liable. So that's the challenge. And so again, your doctor doesn't want you on a whole bunch of medications, even though it seems that way. But society's programmed that way. We ask for it, you know. Insurance keeps us stuck in that system because, well, hey, we paid for it. I want to get most out of my money that I paid for insurance. So give me the surgery, give me the medications, all of this. It's a mindset thing, and that's what keeps people stuck in disease,
Yeah.
right? And it prevents them from shifting to actually feeling healthy and feeling well. Because most people say, oh, I'm healthy, I'm not on a bunch of medications. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm not like in the hospital. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm not sick. Well, that's not true health. That's just absence of disease. What we want is we want to be able to do the things that we want to do,
All right.
right? Playing, you know, being active, playing with our grandkids, being able to go on vacation and actually enjoy it rather than, you know, feeling miserable, not having the energy to do the things that you want to do, not being able to be intimate with your partner, not feeling comfortable in your own skin. All of these things, you know, that's what optimal health is. And you know, we weren't taught any of that in medical school. So that is the key. That is the key. So anyway, I just got on a rant. I don't know what.
Of course you did.
I didn't mean to get on a rant, but you know, it's just so frustrating to see people stuck when they don't have to be. That's the thing, you know. Even when I get stuck, I don't like it, and you know, it's like whenever I'm starting to feel aches and pains, or I gain like, you know, 5 extra pounds or whatever, it's just like, oh no, I already know the direction because I've been there before. You know, I've been to a place where I was 20 pounds overweight. I've been to a place where I was having back pain and on muscle relaxants and stressed and miserable. I've been there. I don't want to go back there again. You know, no way. So I don't want that for any of you either. So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about it, you know, in this beautiful Riviera that we don't have any idea of where we are.
I did. I just don't remember. But that's okay. That's a good thing.
Well, thank you for joining us so early in the morning for those that you are on here live. Terry, nice to see you again. Troy, what's happening, Troy? Troy's joining us here. Yes, we're playing pickleball at 8, Troy, just so you know. He just sent a message. Are we on for pickleball? Yes, we are on for pickleball in 20 minutes. So anyway, love you all. Take care, and we'll see you later.